MotoGP pole for him then. And we'll wait and see, of course. You've got to remember he was Moto3 best ever KTM qualifying. Also equals his personal Moto Grand Prix best, of course. The 28-year-old then is his first year in MotoGP. Second in Catalonia, third in Assen and Red Bull Ring. And pretty fast, I've got to say, throughout the weekend. But third row for him, it hasn't worked this weekend. Only 2 podiums in 2019, Qatar and Sachsenring. Never been a French winner at Misano in the wonder from here. It's truly remarkable that he is a rookie and he's been doing the kind of work. He ended up with their first ever pole position. It was so close. Pol Espargaro really just popped that time in and took that top spot. Franco Morbidelli looking to try and do something a little special here. Giacomo Agostini, he's at trackside. Of course, Marc Marquez, I suppose, despite the fact he's finished in very, very favourably with their data, because virtually every time they've been out on the track, it's been the tyre choices they will have made will be based on those kind of temperatures. So as the flares go up, much as it blows across the track like that, no one wants to drive through a fog. That gives you some idea why move anything out of the way, and that's why we go the opposite way round to how we used to go here, because unfortunately with a 10-foot concrete wall to your right-hand side, as was, and no run. I'm getting a bit confusing down there, gentlemen. It was quite difficult under the sun.
This start's going to be important. Very tight first and second corners.
Miles, it's MotoGP. It's a San Marino Grand Prix down towards turn 1 then. Who's it going to be? It's the first time he's got a good start, I think, since I've been watching him in MotoGP. So we look back at, he's in 4th place. It's the 2 Petronas boys that are sitting up behind him. 20th. I've got Neil Hodgson that's just leapt out of his chair as well.
I was watching Dobby trying to go up the inside of Valentino Rossi, and it's just what he needed. We know he has late race pace, but he gets flustered. He's not good off the line. All he's going to do now is hit his markers, and he knows that.
But Fabio Quartararo is second youngest man to ever do it. If he does, Marquez the only man to be able to beat him. If he does it today, though, Quartararo really, and already they're out in the green stuff, and we know that Race Direction are looking at that. So gained of an advantage by using them, and so therefore they're red hot on serving. He picked up, he's had to serve it here. So the number 5 started a row further back than he'd actually qualified. It's not a long race in distance, a long race in effort though. 27 laps around here.
Relax your arms. You get onto that back, what is the back straight, and literally we're talking a 3 or 4 second race. It's a physical old place this. It's all about being smooth and not making mistakes.
Really interesting where some people like Jorge Lorenzo have gone soft and soft, but the fact of the matter is, all them
been struggling again this weekend, qualified 18th, sort of nothing to lose, probably worth a bit.
We just wish the best for Jorge Lorenzo and wish him back to the kind of form that we know he's capable of doing on the end that has a 78-point lead in this championship. Marc Marquez could take 3 weekends off and Dobby would have to win every single This is all about Quartararo. Has he got the mature race?
Yes.
And that is going to be crucial on a track that's going to be slipperier as this race goes on. Those tyres are as good as a full factory version.
What he has got, Keith, is the speed. Throughout the weekend, out and out race. The fact of the matter is now, though, it's all about track position, and he's sat in second place.
Up where it's best at.
Exactly, stop the flow, the natural turning circle of a Yamaha. That's its strength. More for Yamaha this weekend.
No fairy tale for Valentino Rossi at the moment, struggling a little bit down in 7th place behind Rin Cavone. Oh dear me, no. Hold your breath, everybody. He's gone through. Taking track limits liberties. Wow, Fabio Quartararo's gone through early in this race to take it to everyone else, and he knows that Marquez is behind. He does not want to get tangled with him.
You took the words out of my mouth, as you always do, to come down. So at that point, Quartararo had no choice. He had to go if he wants to win this race.
That the panic has now changed. The panic is now all Marquez's. He's just seen Maverick Vinales as fast as he can to chase Quartararo up the road. And if Quartararo gets into a rhythm, well, he's Marquez. He's really looking now to try and deal with Maverick Vinales. Vinales is going to have to really find a little bit more
and wait for 1 or 2 laps. Is he going to do it here? Is he going to let the brake off? He is.
Yes.
Of course he is.
And So 93 has gone through, and he knew he had to do it because that Honda is a difficult motorbike around. Struggled like mad.
And that's a sort of corner, that's the advantage of the Honda. So he does a block pass, he has no run onto the...
Gami, who's been having a great free practice and qualifying, I've got to say, on the other LCR bike, Cal Crutzo's on the full factory one. He's gone straight over, so...
he'll have to give up some time now.
Yeah, he will do, and it's going to cost him dear as well, because Fabio Quartararo, look at that, 33.3, fastest lap of the race, too. Marc Marquez, what you just said, I know they've still got a full fuel load on at the moment, but Dovizioso, winner last year on you can't get on the throttle, you can't tap the throttle in because you've got no grip to push you forward on the straights every time.
Their strength, hasn't it? Completely. That's what they rely on. They don't need to carry corner speed. But the problem is right now, they're standing up and he just sits there spinning.
We are looking at the cream of MotoGP. You know what? I went through the stats and I had to check them again. He's only ever won one Grand Prix on a speed up. It's incredible. And they put their faith in it. Razlan Razali, you saw him a moment ago, and it is Fabio Quartararo.
He won another race, but then he got it taken off in the cycle.
At the end of the day, it was the wrong oil, wasn't it?
Tyre pressure,
that was tyre pressure. It was low.
It was something and nothing. But and just think of the opposite, right? So you've got Marc Marquez. He starts his
bin, and it should have been, as Valentino sticks it under the KTM. It could have been, and it should have been, a Yamaha route. This Marquez chases 20-year-old Frenchman Fabio Quartararo. What a revelation! What are they doing giving him the ride? Why has he got this factory Yamaha ride, even though it isn't an independent?
There were quite a few people saying, I think that's a smart signing. Everyone used for...
You wonder whether they did at Petronas or whether it was the only deal they could do and they took a punt.
They took a punt because they'd signed Frankie Morbidelli and he was there another year in MotoGP, and it was almost like he's our safe bet. He's going to be battling well inside.
So on the 04 Ducati, the factory Ducati in front of Rins, but struggling to get past pole cycle, and that's what it's about. That's why Valentino Rossi is still doing this job at full. Damn good at it. So, as Dobby struggles by Quartararo at
a curse.
Well,
no wonder no one wants to talk to him on the grid. At least
you haven't spoken.
Oh, no.
I'm surprised you spoke to him, actually.
We're good friends now.
Out front, Marquez second place. Maverick Vinales has been dropped massively, 2.6 seconds back now in third place. Then we look back towards Rossi and Espargaro. And then Andrea Dovizioso still struggling to get past pole. Once again, we're seeing that the Ducati is negated. Oh, good move from Andrea. On the flip-flop. Oh, look at this. It's been a brilliant weekend in Misano for the KTM team. But still out front, Quartararo got better pace this morning. Dovizioso, you can never discount him, but they're too far up the road, really, for him to be playing with kids. He can afford to crash trying to pass Quartararo, to deny Quartararo. The thing, I will say, that holds him back from that is injury. It's Aragon next week. We talked a minute ago of weekends off.
I'm totally with you, Keith. Mark is going to try absolutely everything. The last thing he wants
in front of the other factory Yamaha. That's what we're seeing, a bit of a pattern here. People ask me, why is it that the independent sensitive, you can barely ask it.
Well, because at the moment Fabio's the better rider.
Great.
Well, it's the truth, isn't it? You know,
the truth hurts.
The truth hurts.
And when you've got the president of Yamaha here going on. Meanwhile, there's going to be some talk going on in a minute. There's going to be some speed, and just puts Mark at a bit of disadvantage through Cavone. Then that's a good 140. 12, then back some more for 13, and back to bottom gear for 14. This one, the center of the track here, 16. We have still got 16 laps to go in this race when they cross the line.
Started to grow. They were pulling away every lap. It's just sort of stabilised a little bit now,
which is what we'll. Everyone sporting new helmet paint jobs, as we see quite often here when we era. And we are right on the Adriatic coast here as well. So let's look injury. Then it's the wild card. Michele Pirro on the Ducati in front of Danilo Petrucci. The full factory bike is 14th at the moment, and Aleix Espargaro is holding on the Aprilia to the final, playing proper cat and mouse. He's just placing himself. I don't think Marc Marquez has to till the very end of the race.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But what might change that is Vignales 2 and 3 tenths a lap quicker. The gap now between Maverick Vignales a long way back.
Oh, Suzuki down. Wow.
Is it Rins?
That's the question.
It is?
It is Rins. Wow. It's two bike. Pretty rare. He'd already got the long lap penalty. So Alex, bigger penalty there.
I wonder if he'll still have to do the long lap loop. It will, won't it? It's a penalty.
He will have to do it. It might find him coming down pit lane and not bothering any further.
And doesn't that sum up Rins' consistency?
He's not made the progress this weekend that he normally makes through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. Quite a Suzuki and Rins this weekend have not kind of been able to make it work. So
It's so easy to do that, Keith.
turn 4, we've seen
Turn
so
4.
much of it this weekend.
Trail braking, you've still got a lot of front brake on it. Down you go.
Back with the leaders.
Vinales is coming.
10.5 laps to go. That's going to be the 0.9, I think, was the biggest gap. Back to Vinales in 3rd place, and that's what we see from Vinales. Exactly where Marquez is. Is he just keeping rhythm at the pace he's prepared to keep at, to keep his...
I wonder if they're giving him on his pit board.
Here we go, Rossi on Morbidelli.
Or the fact that he'll be aware of Marquez being behind him, but I wonder if they're telling him that Vinales is slow.
What exactly his time, what he's covering. He will know whether 34.0, which he's capable of doing very soon. 10 and a bit laps left to go then between these two. This is your race for the... Says it all there. 2.7, 2.4, 2.2, 2.1. Vinales, lap 71 mile. Misano Grand Prix. See, certainly not in MotoGP terms, as Rossi finally makes it stick on more. This was the pass, and it was a bit of a block pass, wasn't it, between the two of them in different parts of the racetrack. But anyway, stood up. Now it's all about Marquez versus another Yamaha rider, and it's a 20-year-old French. You could say that for a lot of tracks, actually, in the modern era.
Yeah, look at very constant. Now within 2 seconds is Vinales.
I think Quartararo has got a little more pace.
Yeah.
Particularly, got plenty of stoppies going on there.
It was almost like Marc Marquez. That enabled him to start taking a few more risks.
1.9 it was down to at the line last time. Oh, now we'll see whether Marc is prepared to pass Quartararo. Now he knows Vinales is coming. This might force. That'll do.
9 laps to go. And these are the hardest 9.
Youngsters come into their own domain, isn't it? This is where you're prepared to just push, keep pushing, despite the fact 6-year-old versus the 20-year-old Fabio Quartararo, who would become the second youngest ever. Vinales now, it was down to 1.9 at the line last time around, and the number 12, the 20, still looking for a win here. Vinales closes them down.
Faster every lap.
But he will be using up tyre. He's got to go quicker than the 2 men in front of him in this determined mode. 8 laps to go then, over the line here. It is the Grand Prix of San Marino.
Can you imagine every lap seeing +0 Marquez, +0 Marquez, or +0.1 when it's coming down? We're now down to 7 laps to go. You know, everybody, he will always do a lunge, even when it's not possible. What I'm saying is, he knows it's cold. When's he going to try it?
And you know what I'm impressed with? It's not forced him offline. He's not gone protective anywhere around. It is the LCR, Lucio Cecchinello Racing Honda. He's got Zarco behind him, and he's got a late clamp. The top triple clamp has been raised right up. The handlebars have been raised right up. And I've got no idea whether that's
been inside the top 12 pretty much every session, where normally we're used to seeing Zarco. This season, he had a crash in the warm-up, so don't know if that's set him back ever so slightly.
Tito Rabat, Sarah, we saw him a little earlier, Carol Abraham, and Takaki Nakagami is back. 20 riders in the MotoGP, but it's all about the front. He was under pressure from Petrucci.
Yeah.
But
don't often see him slip with his trackers.
Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. He's lined Tarmac. You know the pass is coming. Where will it be? And Quartararo, Marquez, Vinales, Rossi in 4th place, Morbidelli. He's not going to equal that, but it's been a great weekend for KTM and for Pol Espargaro. His stock value's gone up again.
Yeah.
You're trying to put a hook through the top there.
I don't want to risk too much. I'll take 2nd place. I'll extend not a chance. Not a
Colin
chance.
Evans nearly choked on his food next to us here. Rare moment.
His face after both those defeats.
Like a slapped child.
He was not happy at all.
So, Quadra of Quartararo, the genial Frenchman, has really not pushed that from Marquez than perhaps the Yamaha is from Quartararo, but Quartararo's going to need the pace. Liberties with that front.
Oh, it's close.
He runs in on the trail braking, runs in by trail breakers running in. They all do it, but Marquez manages to just leave that brake on, leave it later. And Hernandez, he should have no fingers left down to his first knuckle.
No fingers. I'd love to see the heart rates of the riders now.
I'd like to see the heart rates of the team.
Can you imagine?
Much so. 4 laps to go. When's it coming? Marquez is right there. It's not soon. That was the typical Quartararo in the air on the brakes into there. And that's the kind of thing where the Honda is very good on the brakes with Marquez.
It's coming.
Where will it be? Building. Into the braking area. Off to the right somewhere will be Cal Crutchlow.
Well, that's, yeah, and you're not exaggerating that. Think of the passes we've seen all weekend.
They've all been
There's
tight.
been a lot.
Here we go again. Listen to this. Oh, every hair on my body, not a pretty sight, I know you will agree. In there, Marquez, as we come to, has just got that little bit extra performance in the straight line, almost breaking at the same point. The only question perhaps at this point, Giacomo Agostini, an absolute legend. Good to see you, revered men in motorcycling, particularly in Italy. Next, laps to go. The build-up is on now. It's all about these two. Here we go, be there the next time around. Or will he leave it right to the death, to the last lap of this run? The Adriatic coast, Marquez looking at every part of the track, squaring it off. As by Marquez has got it all worked out. It's a fast motorcycle, but look at that. Marquez through that fast stuff just as a...
To the track, these horrible twisty corners coming up like now, turn 14, watch him close in.
Yeah, this will be where he tries for it. Just isn't the kind of motorbike you want the front end to slip out from underneath you at turn 11.
To be too little too late. All he can hope for is contact between these two.
But we'll wait and see as we get to that. 2 laps to go. This is the penultimate race then. Penultimate lap of the San Marino Grand Prix.
And if you're a French fan now, talk about you're on the edge of your seat.
On the stick. Runs out to the green.
Let's not forget, Marquez has all the information now. Fabio Quartararo, all he knows is, like we've said, it's incoming.
Here we go then. This is it going to be. Marquez. Marquez comes alongside him into the braking area. This is what it's all about now. Can he get underneath Marquez? Can he get underneath Marquez? He does get underneath Marquez. That is super. Underneath him into the braking area at turn 8. He's going to get him for sure into here. But is he going to be able to pull it down to the apex? Will it be Quartararo at turn 14 that rams it under Marquez and takes him offline? His pass is part of the course.
And he's closing.
But he can't make a pass here. It's too close. He's had to sit up. The wind has got to him. He can't do it. Marquez has got it covered. Cuts it inside. Oh, Marquez has covered him off, and that's why. And ruined French aspirations. It's going to be Marc Marquez then that Honda has beaten Fabio Quartararo and Maverick Viñales. And in front of the president of Yamaha, here's Rossi over the line for 4th place, gets in front of Morbidelli and does the business. There he is. Wow, great race. And I think, for me, without speaking it, because he sat behind him throughout the entire race, because he was too scared to pass him.
He had to do what Valentino Rossi did in qualifying into 14, into that. It would have been a ramming block pass.
Marquez got him covered.
But unfortunately, if you want to beat number 8,
another race day for Fabio Quartararo to win his first ever MotoGP. But out of adversity, and that Honda that doesn't work for anyone else, a massive amount.
Yeah, well, to put it in some sort of perspective, the next Honda 47 seconds behind.
So, Marquez is closing in. But that, for me, was the biggest compliment he could have paid Fabio Quartararo. He's really...
Obviously, a massive day in his career, but it was a day at school for Quartararo. He'll watch this race back inside.
Let me ask you, in the circumstances, what else could he have done? I know you say a block pass down into 14.
It was the only... It was... Hey,
but he couldn't get under him.
No, Marquez did so good, and it's what he does. That's one of his strong points. He braked, but turned in straight towards the point. Actually,
it just wasn't the opportunity.
It was nowhere near close enough. If he'd
Mark had got him shut down. He got the Honda. He did what the Honda does, stopped it in the middle of the corner. Going to do it. So Quartararo, he lost. But I tell you what, that is going to be surely world champion again this year. We're going to level 8. No cigar. 4th place behind his teammate Maverick Viñales, who goes to the podium in 3rd. Formed during the winter, last winter, and a rookie.